Let's have a go at launching this M5. Got a nice, quiet bit of road. Foot down. Go. Oh my goodness me. Oh. Wow. Good morning guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now this is the brand new 2021 LCI BMW M5 Competition. I've been talking to some of my friends about the car and they think it sounds pretty impressive until you mention the price. This car is £110,000. You heard me right, £110,000, and that is a huge amount of money. And they asked me the question, well, why is this nearly double the price of a well-spec'd 5 Series? They like cars but don't really understand why, and I'm going to try and justify this car's huge price tag. So we're going to have a look around the styling, the inside, and most importantly take this out on the road, because this car, I know as a petrol head, and you guys probably do, is something very, very special. The rest of the 5 Series had a subtle makeover at the beginning of the year, and now it's the turn of the M5 Competition to have that same makeover. Fundamentally the car is the same. There are a few styling changes, some mechanical changes. The inside is again subtly different. So let's start off at the front. The kidney grille now has gone over to a single piece and it's in this piano black finish. We've now for the first time got an M5 Competition badge, different headlights. You can get the LCI laser lights, and if you did have those, you would have a blue streak running across the top there. Further down we've got a different front apron that's been subtly changed as well, and the biggest change, although nothing is particularly significantly different on this, is these air intakes here, and we've now got a bit more detailing in here. But that's about it from the front. It was a good looking car anyway, and they just tweaked it ever so slightly to make it even better. For me, obviously I'm a petrol head, I know what I'm looking at, and this is something a bit special. But to the non-car enthusiast, it looks like a good looking 5 Series. There's nothing really to shout and scream about as you do with some other manufacturers that this thing is worth £110,000. This model's not really much different from the previous model, but it's still a good looking car, so there's nothing wrong with changing a great formula. If you're new to the M5, let me talk to you around some of the main styling at the side here. We've got 275 30/20 tyres at the front, and they're slightly wider at the back at 285 35/20 as well. Now the most significant difference between this and a regular 5 Series is this roof. This is carbon fibre, so that's very, very expensive compared to the normal roof, but it has a number of benefits. One, it's a lot lighter. Two, because it is lighter, it lowers the centre of gravity, so it should help with the handling of this car. This, even though it is a stupidly fast car, it is still very practical. Still a 4-door, still fit for 5 adults in here. It's just smart. It's a bit of an under the radar car, and I absolutely love it. We've got brand new tail lights for the LCI model, and they give it more of a 3D look. But from the back there are a few other subtle changes. We've got a brand new rear apron here and a new diffuser. Got a subtle spoiler here, the M5 Competition badge in black, and the biggest giveaway, this is something a bit special for the knowing people anyway, is the fact it's got quad 85mm exhaust. The car from the back is, well, it's just again subtle. Some people don't want subtle. For £110,000, I cannot get over that price, £110,000, they might want something a bit more aggressive, a bit more angry looking, but for me this is a perfect car. It's comfortable, practical, loads of boot space. It's a 5 Series at the end of the day, so there's a massive amount of room. But there we go, that's the outside of the, so again, £110,000 5 Series. Let's hop in and we'll have a look around the inside. So welcome to the inside of the M5 Competition. It's a lovely place to be, as are all 5 Series. But in here we've got the cream Monaro leather, Alcantara both on the roof lining and the door pillars, leather on the dash with some nice grey stitching. Now the standout thing for me in here has to be the M5 seats. They are so comfortable, there are so many adjustments and you can get yourself in the perfect position. We've got a brand new larger screen to control the infotainment system. It's gone from a 10.25 up to a 12.5 inch. It's a nice additional feature and makes the iDrive version 7 operating system even easier to use. Really like that. Over on the steering wheel we've got M1 and M2 buttons. They're found on all M cars and distinguish it from the other models. So if you don't know about these M buttons, they allow you to put in some presets, so you can configure the car saying M1 to be more relaxed, softer on the road, so that's for your cruising along doing your normal things like shopping. You may want it to be relaxed, and then when you want a more spirited drive you press your M2, firm everything up and it gets all angry. It really is a wolf in sheep's clothing, and to mix metaphor, Jekyll and Hyde as well. So I love that. Down here we've taken some cues, I say we, I mean BMW, have taken some of the things they've learned from the M8 and the M8 Grand Coupe in terms of the controls. We'll talk about them a bit later, but the standout one again for me has to be the M mode button. So we'll start the car, we press the button. Now that's one thing that's missing. I'm not going to go on about it anymore, but because of OPF filters, the car just doesn't sound that impressive when you start it. There's no real burbles, you know. The 4.4 V8 is incredible, but it has lost something ever so slightly. But that's the only negative, so we'll ignore that. But if we go in here, we've got this M mode button, and if you press that, it changes what I can see on my dash. So I've pressed it once and gone into sports mode, and that has changed what I can see. So I've got a large rev counter in a hexagonal. It's in the Hofmeister kink style that BMW are renowned for, with a G meter, fuel and temperature gauge. Now the next thing you can do, which is really useful if you're on track, you hold down the same M button and go into track mode. It will come up with a warning message saying that the driver assistance cannot be activated, and that is perfect for when you're on track. You don't want lane assist or collision detection or anything on and it turns stability off. This is the most hardcore mode that you can have, and in here we get again rev counter and speedo bang in the middle, but then you also get tyre pressure on the left. This is a really nice feature. It also turns off this central display, so there's nothing distracting you from when you're belting it round a racetrack, because this car is supposed to be amazing on track. So that's the main things about the M5. There's lots of other practical things which you'll see on any other 5 Series. So now really it's about the driving experience. Let's put some cameras up and we're going to go out and enjoy this car for a few hours, because this thing is supposed to be biblical. Joe Achilles, I've been watching him for a while, and Mr. BMW has said this is one of his favourite cars. Go and subscribe to Joe if you want to know about everything BMW, but only after watching this video. Let's see, about £110,000, we've seen some subtle changes on the outside. I'm hoping the driving experience can justify that huge amount of money extra that you're going to spend on this car. Let's get going. I'm expecting a lot of this car. Joe Achilles, who's Mr. BMW at the end of the day, said this is one of the best cars he's ever driven. So yeah, very high expectations of what this is capable of. So I mentioned earlier we've got these M1 and M2 buttons. At the moment I'm in M1, so that means we've got the engine in efficient, chassis comfort, steering comfort, and we're in four-wheel drive standard mode. So this is if you're using the car as you would do a normal 5 Series, just pottering around in every day. But I don't have this car for that long, so I don't want to be in sensible mode. I want to be in something a bit more aggressive, and to prove why this car is worth £110,000. So we're going to go over to the M2, hold down M2, and it changes everything. Now I've got engine in Sport Plus, chassis in Sport Plus, steering in Sport, and the MX drive in four-wheel drive. This M5 is fitted with MX drive. We've seen the same sort of setup as this on the M8. At the moment we've got it in four-wheel drive, so this is probably the most sensible mode you can have it in. Well, sensible and a M5 competition probably doesn't go together hand in hand too well, but that means you've got a reasonable split between power, doesn't allow any slip, within reason anyway. It is rear biased, which is a good thing. Now, if you want to go over and have a bit more fun while still having four-wheel drive, you can turn DSC off and use the jog wheel and go across to four-wheel drive Sport. This will put more power to the rear and allow some slip. That's probably the more exciting option. If you've got a big pair of whatnots, then you can go over to two-wheel drive. Now this is an option I'm not going near. In this weather it is about 4 degrees, it is wet, and we have 625 brake horsepower. There is absolutely no way I want everything going to the rear tyres of this car. I know some people say that BMWs have to be rear-wheel drive and this MX drive system is cheating. But with this amount of power and these sort of roads, I do not want just rear-wheel drive. You can do that just by pressing a few buttons, but no, I think we'll leave it in four-wheel drive. So now we're coming up to some bit more of an open road, and we can stretch this thing's legs ever so slightly. Now up front, we've got a 4.4 litre V8 twin turbo with, oh my god, oh dear, that is fast. Oh wow, that is the first time I've stretched this thing's legs ever so slightly. But as I was saying, 4.4 litre V8 twin turbo, 625 brake horsepower, 750 newton meters of torque. This is an animal, the real Jekyll and Hyde. Oh wow, Joe, you are right, this is epic. We've got some nice back roads here. Let's go down here. We're over in manual, and let's see what this car's like. We can open it up. Oh my goodness me. This is epic. It is so easy to go over the 60-mile-an-hour speed limit. That is ridiculous. Inside, we're going back to the sound. I said I wouldn't mention this again. It sounds okay. I mean, some of the audio is augmented and piped into the cabin. It's not fake because it actually comes from what the engine sounds like. So you do get something, but the thing I'm really missing is there's no cracks and pops on down change. It just hasn't quite got that raucous sound of some of the previous generations, but even slow. This V8 is really, it is the tour de force. So these roads are perfect for handling on this car. The 5 Series is big. It's a very big car, and these roads are certainly not very big, but we can have some fun. The brakes on this are brilliant. The oh, jeez, this thing is fast. Hard on the brakes. Drop it down a couple. Wow. Oh my God, this thing's quick. I could imagine this thing on track being this biblical. This has to be the fastest car I've ever driven. It's epic. I don't even know what else to say about this. It gives you so much confidence. Having never driven this car, I've driven it for about 4 hours. I feel very happy and quite at home driving at the speed limit. I know if I was on track it will be a different matter, but for here, this is brilliant. Right, we're coming out of a junction now. Let's see what the acceleration is like. So, foot down, no slip. Whoa! That was 60. The back kicked out ever so slightly, but all of the driver aids said, yep, I'm going to help you. Oh my goodness me. I'm glad I had it in 4-wheel drive and not rear-wheel drive, because I have a funny feeling this thing would have been very, very sideways indeed. Oh my God, this thing is so fast. Oh wow. You'd never get bored of that. You would never ever get bored of that. And that is where your £110,000 has gone, to doing things like that, to doing 60 in 3.3, or realistically 3 seconds. This car is so fast. It defies physics. It handles so well. It stops. Everything about it is turned up to 11, I'd say 12 over a standard 5 Series. So really, is it worth £110,000? I think to the average buyer, then no, it's not. You could still buy a really nice 5 Series for 70 grand. But if you want this biblical performance, the amazing handling, the stopping power, the M5 is the car for you. You do need deep pockets. You cannot exploit the power anywhere near on the road, but it puts a huge smile on your face. I love this car. It is one of the most satisfying cars I've ever driven. It's certainly the best all-rounder car I've ever driven, and if I get to drive anything anywhere near as good as this ever, I will be very, very surprised. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. So a massive thank you to Chandlers BMW and Hailsham. They've got these cars, this is their demonstrators, so if you want to drive what has to be probably the best car BMW make, then get yourself down there, take this thing out. It is truly brilliant. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Comments are always welcome, and remember to click on the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.